Once upon a time, there was a man named David who had found love in a woman named Laura. Their love was the kind that radiated warmth, and after 3 years of marriage, their joy was complete when Laura gave birth to a son, Ethan. From the moment David held Ethan in his arms, he felt an unshakable bond, a connection deeper than anything he had ever known. He swore to protect his son with every fiber of his being, and as Ethan grew, David's love for him only deepened. He taught him to ride a bike, took him fishing, and was present for every milestone, big or small. 16 years later, David's life took a tragic turn when he was involved in a car accident. The accident wasn't life-threatening, but during his recovery, David discovered something devastating: he was impotent. He hadn't paid much attention to the implications until a gnawing thought grew louder. If he had been impotent, how could Ethan be his biological son? Tormented by this thought, David secretly conducted a DNA test, hoping it would be a cruel mistake. The results, however, shattered his world. Ethan was not his biological son. He began piecing things together, becoming suspicious of Laura. David searched through her personal belongings, looking for clues, and found evidence of her infidelity. His heart broke as he uncovered love letters and hidden trinkets from another man. He realized the truth. Laura had been unfaithful all along. Unbeknownst to David, Laura had her suspicions about his behavior. She had placed a hidden sensor in their home, alerting her whenever anyone tampered with her private things. The moment David began his secret search, Laura knew. She silently stewed, her guilt mixed with fear that her carefully guarded secret was about to unravel. One evening, Laura prepared an elaborate meal, the kind they used to share during special occasions. The table was set with their finest china, candles flickered, and a soft melody played in the background. But behind the facade of this celebratory dinner was a sinister plan. Laura had laced David's meal with poison. Her aim was simple. She needed to silence him before he could expose her. David, however, had his own plans. As they sat down to eat, he had intended to confront her. He was going to reveal that he knew Ethan wasn't his son, but he would also tell her that he had accepted it. He loved Ethan regardless and had no intentions of destroying their family. But before he could say anything, Laura suggested they enjoy the meal first. Her tone was sweet and deceptive. David took a few bites, savoring the food before his body started to fail him. He clutched his chest, his breath ragged, and collapsed on the floor. Laura watched, her face unreadable as David died before her eyes. She had achieved her goal. Her secret was safe. Years passed, and Ethan grew into a fine young man. He excelled in his studies and went off to university, unaware of the dark history that shadowed his life. One evening, while walking through a secluded part of campus, he was attacked by a group of thugs. But just when all seemed lost, something extraordinary happened. The attackers were suddenly thrown back by an invisible force. Ethan stood in stunned silence, his heart racing, as the danger vanished as quickly as it had appeared. Strange things continued to happen. At work, when Ethan was wrongly accused of theft and was about to lose his job, the true culprit appeared, confessing to the crime in an almost trance-like state. Over time, these odd occurrences became more frequent. Every time Ethan was in trouble, something intervened, ensuring his safety. One day, Ethan sat on the rooftop of his apartment, gazing out into the horizon, burdened with questions. He whispered into the night, "What's going on? Who's protecting me?" In the stillness of that moment, a cold breeze stirred, and from the shadows emerged a familiar figure, a figure that shouldn't have been there. It was David, his father, but not as he remembered him. He was translucent, ghostly, yet his presence was unmistakable. "Dad?" Ethan's voice trembled. David smiled softly, his ghostly form shimmering in the twilight. "Yes, my son, it's me." Ethan's heart raced. "How? Why? What is happening?" David sighed. "There's something I need to tell you, Ethan. I've been watching over you, protecting you since the day I died. Your mother, she poisoned me. She feared I had uncovered a secret she wanted to keep hidden." Ethan's eyes widened in horror. "Mom killed you?" David nodded slowly. "Yes, she was afraid that I had found out you weren't biologically my son." Tears welled in Ethan's eyes, confusion and pain swirling in his chest. Then why? Why have you been protecting me? David kneeled before him, the ghost of a loving father, his eyes filled with compassion. Because, Ethan, you are my son in every way that matters. Blood does not define the bond we shared. From the moment I held you, I loved you, and nothing, not betrayal, not even death could ever change that. Ethan wept, overwhelmed by the truth. Forgive your mother, Ethan, David continued, his voice soft. I have. She acted out of fear, not malice. She loved you too, in her own way. I cannot move on until you release the weight of this secret. It's time to live your life, free of the shadows of the past. Ethan nodded, though his heart ached with the enormity of the revelation. I will, Dad. I forgive her. And thank you for everything. David's form began to fade, his presence growing dim. Goodbye, my son. Live well. I'll always be with you. As the last traces of his father's ghost disappeared into the night, Ethan sat alone on the rooftop, the burden lifted. He knew that no matter what, he would carry his father's love with him forever, a love stronger than blood, stronger than betrayal, and stronger than death itself. And that brings us to the end of our story. It's a powerful reminder that love is not bound by blood, but by the bond we build through trust, loyalty, and compassion. David's love for Ethan endured, even when faced with betrayal and death, proving that real love transcends biology. At the same time, the story teaches us that secrets, lies, and betrayal only lead to heartache. Yet, forgiveness has the power to heal even the deepest wounds. The moral of the story is simple. True family is about the love we give and the sacrifices we make. Even in the darkest of times, love has the strength to protect, to forgive, and ultimately, to set us free. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and share for more thought-provoking content. Thanks for watching.